and you're going to just love these people. But this is a private ticket holder training. You're not allowed on this call, and I will not let you on this call if you have not done this activity, which is get your ticket. Okay. I am not going to build a community of people that we're kind of just everybody gets a trophy, because if you lower the bar, then it's not worth getting to. If you lower the bar, it's not worth getting to. Okay. Now I'm going to do a little training here because I've got some things that I wanted to give you updates with and show you some things that I think you're going to get excited about. Okay. Is this the secret? I've heard this multiple times and I repeat it all the time, is to get a large group of people to do a few easy tasks over a sustained period of time. I want to talk to you about this face to face first real quick. So I'm going to go dual on here. Okay. Real quick. This is important. Okay. Is to get a large group of people. Like if you see the stuff that I do, is here's the misconception. Is I know the word duplication gets thrown out there a lot, and they say you should do everything that's duplicatable. The stuff that I set up and build is not duplicatable. The good news is I don't want you ever to have to do it. My objective, and one of the things that I have always focused on, and I've done networking successfully with all the correct principles, and I've done all the hotel meetings, home meetings out the wazoo, everything you can think of. I know how to build a network marketing business. But the other thing is with today's day and age of technology and the ability to rapidly scale a business, I don't look at this as a hobby. To me, this is something that's going to generate millions and millions of dollars in income for my family. Okay, whether you want to jump on the bandwagon or not, it's totally up to you. But the key here is to understand this, that everything that I am building is not something you have to build or do. I'm building systems to plug you into it because of this. Is people are not duplicatable, but systems are. Systems also give you leverage. Systems also give you leverage, and that's what I'm going to show you. But I wanted to look you in the face a little bigger so that you got this. Okay, so anything you see me build, never think, oh, I need to go build that. You don't. You just have to use the stuff that I build. If you want me to help you, show you if you want to put it on like your own channel or something, that's fine. Excuse me. I've been doing 3-ways all morning, but that's kind of the thing. Okay. So let me shrink myself again and I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. The secret is to get a large group of people to do a few easy tasks over a sustained period of time. So let's talk about building your business real quick. And I'm going to show you a few things. Nothing I show you, I have not done myself and have had success, and in most cases, done it for years successfully. See, here's the thing, is everybody that you're recruiting that's looking at this thing asks themselves 2 questions. Is it worth doing and can I do it? And the thing that I think is important is when we show them the proper information, they obviously realize it's worth doing. But can I do it is the most of the things that they have to understand before they make and pull the trigger. If you're doing anything typically that's too hard or looks too complicated or time consuming, they usually pass on it. That's why I've always done the things the way that I do them, because I look easy to do, and that's the case. Okay, I try to stay as dumb as possible. Now, here's the thing. This is the thing is I want to preface this page. I have a training video that I did. It's 13 minutes long in the Boom Time group. You'll see it with my face on here where I went like with a green screen about the iBuumerang marketing funnel. I want you to understand this. What I'm showing you is not a funnel per se that you would think, like if you had ClickFunnels, lead pages, all these other things. A funnel is basically a strategy, okay? A funnel is a strategy. I'm going to show you that. I must add some slides. Because the power of what we do in this business is this. Whoever tells the story the most wins. Telling the story could be a home meeting, a hotel meeting, texting somebody a message, ATM group, whatever, okay? Whoever tells the story the most wins. You've seen me do this slide multiple times, but again, this is for new people. 5 per day, 5 contacts a day, 5 days a week is 25 contacts a week. 25 contacts a week is by 4 weeks is 100 contacts. If you only get a 5% success closing ratio as signups for reps, you get 5. If you just stayed consistent with those numbers, okay? let alone probably the other 50 to 75 you would get as customers. 5 reps obviously signed up to get you dual team qualified, and you're going to make a little money. But here's the thing about what a funnel really is. A funnel is a series of steps put in a strategic order where the goal is to take your customer on a journey that makes them most likely to go from a prospect to a customer to a client. Okay, I took that slide from one of my marketing classes that I teach. This is a powerful, powerful thing. So I'm going to tell you what I've done and what works, and I'm seeing it work because it's duplicatable. I have 3 steps. And the reason I make these steps different, and I'm going to show you the Sizzle call strategy, and I'm going to show you the ATM strategy, and they are identical, except they're different platforms. Okay, they're identical but different platforms. Here's the thing about the Sizzle call. The Sizzle call, if you dial this number, okay, if you write this down, if you've never listened to it, is a recorded message that is designed for one simple thing: to pique someone's interest to continue a conversation. That is the only thing its purpose is. And the reason I know all this stuff is that it works and so on. I mean, I did a case study on a company I was in 8 years ago, and some of you know what I was talking about was that energy company where I was the number 2 money earner in that company. And the only reason I was number 2 is because I got in 4 years later than the number 1. And within a year, I was a number 2. And I put this exact same strategy together. And whoever got people to listen to this call, or because I have a lot of you that are overseas or in different countries, can't dial that number without being charged, I have the exact same message on a video, on a YouTube video, right? Or it's in the ATM thing. And all I typically have done is this: hey, Stacy, not sure if you'd be interested or not. I recently started an online business, looking for more people to supplement their incomes. Here's a recording that explains it. And if somebody listens to that, a lot of times they're very, very open to getting more information. The thing is when I first started when I first started iBuumerang, I realized that there were people that were sending people to iDecide, which is the next step of what I think the process, but this was the first thing they were sending them. And if somebody doesn't properly edify the iDecide, which I understand, it's just a skill you have to learn. If you don't properly edify and promote the iDecide, they typically don't watch the full thing because it's about 10 or so minutes long to go through it, right? So they click on the first thing, they click on the second thing, they click on the third thing, and they never maybe get there and they stop. So what I realized I had to do was create the first step first to trigger more people to watch the iDecide, and it works. Okay, so iDecide. And then the last thing is simply this: you get somebody to watch a full-blown presentation. It again could be the one inside you could text somebody the video, right? The iBuumerang presentation video, whether it's the one I did. And you just realize this: I could care less whose presentation you like. You don't hurt my feelings if you don't like mine, but you like Amy Seaver's, or you like Sam Bean's or Tommy Johnson's or whoever. Doesn't hurt my feelings. I just want you to do it. Okay. It's just the process. So the 3 steps with using the Sizzle call is text somebody, get them to see this, and so on, right? Okay. Now I have to show you this, going global. All right. You ready for this? Actually, I got to show you this slide real quick. Everybody should know about recordbreakinggrowth.com. Recordbreakinggrowth.com is the longer page that's kind of the buffet. So if I did step 1, step 2, step 3, this would be somebody still had questions. I send them recordbreakinggrowth.com because it's got a bunch of info on here. Okay. So if I go to recordbreakinggrowth.com, the Sizzle call is still there. The 10-minute presentation still there. But then I've got the vibe rides on here, Holton's long speech, some of the questions that I have on here, and so on. So you see all these things that are available, comp plan, and so on. And one of the reasons that I put a page like this together is I've always been under the belief that people are smart enough to go to a buffet without hurting themselves. Some people say it's too much, some people it's too little, With me, it's just like I'm smart enough to go weed through it, so I don't care. Okay. Here's what I want to show you. Remember that slide I showed, global domination, right? I realized that I had people in the Mexican markets, Swedish markets, Russian, France, German that spoke these languages. Check this out. If you go to recordbreakinggrowth.com because you have a prospect that speaks only Spanish, if you go here and click on Spanish, it will open a new tab where I converted just the first 2 videos. Okay, I'll show you this. It's the exact same verbiage on that page, but it's now in Spanish. Okay, now here's the Sizzle video. Okay, because I tried this and I tested it. I had to spend some money to go buy software. I have a Mac computer, and I actually had to go buy a PC, which I might as well go back to the Stone Age and use a hammer and chisel compared to a Mac. But anyhow, this software only worked on a PC, but I bought it anyhow because I know it'll be worth it. But check this out. So if somebody still played the video, okay, you've all heard the call, right? You're probably interested in still the same Sizzle video, but it's now it's translated in Spanish. You understand what I just showed you, right? It's translated in Spanish. This was a brand new 10-minute presentation that I did. With the presentation, it's translated. I'm sorry, not translated. It's subtitled. It's subtitled in Spanish because I want to give you an advantage. Take a guess what happens when you click on Swedish. Right? Take a guess what happens when you click on Russian. Take a guess what happens when you click on French. Right? Take a guess what happens when you click on German. Same scenario, translated. Now, don't be calling me and telling me that you want me to convert something because you got one person in a country. I'm not doing that. If there's growth in a market that warrants me putting another video together, that's fine. And I have some other ideas, but this is to get you started. Now, I'm going to show you a trick that you might not understand that you can do. Let's say you have somebody in Mexico that you want to send this Sizzle call because you want them to hear it, and they'll hear the voice, but you want them to read along. I don't know if you knew this, but if you put your mouse over a YouTube video and you right click, this will pop up and you actually click copy the video URL. And when you do that, it copies the video URL, and then you can just give it to them, and it will just be this video. Like a lot of times when I do that, if somebody was inboxing me, let's say on Facebook Messenger or whatever, I might right click, copy the video URL and send it to somebody. Because you guys remember, I say I answer just about everything in tools. Now, the other thing that I want to talk to you about is this. All of these videos are also, they're hosted on a brand new YouTube account that I did. Okay, I made a YouTube account specific for this. So they're not going to see any of my normal stuff that you see on my Mike Healy YouTube channel. Okay, so if somebody was to be smart enough and click on this to go to YouTube, it's a generic, I actually named it the 5-Star Business Group is the name of it. Wink, wink. So it's not going to, there's no links or anything like this on these videos. So you can use these videos to give out to people and so on. How do you like that? Is that pretty cool? Is that pretty cool? Okay, so let me go full screen again real quick. So we're going global. All you got to do is go to recordbreakinggrowth.com, click on those links, and those will take you to those pages that you can copy. And you can always copy and paste anything you want. Okay, so now let's talk real quick about the ATM strategy. Hopefully you get this, but I have to run through it a few times because the ATM strategy is working and it's extremely powerful. You're basically adding somebody to our group. You're pinning them in you're adding to the group, you're pinning them, tagging them in a post, and you're sending them a message on how it works. I'm going to give you real world examples. Now, the cool thing about the ATM strategy is it follows up with people because as you guys make posts in there, and I have to approve every single post that goes through the 5-Star group. So if somebody posts something that's just like a happy feely, YouTube video, I don't approve it. These are the types of posts that come through. They're all business oriented or customer specific for sure. Okay. Whether it's this guy said he got a bonus check, Angie posted in here about her savings, and this was a great interview. These Facebook interviews are really, really good. If I haven't done one with you and you want me to, let me know. I'll do a Facebook interview with you that'll go in here and we'll do that. Okay. Recognition posts. Don't know why I have that image up there. Okay. Boom Time. Boom Time Group is just the team page, right? And you understand that we've got these different things in there. I'm posting different things. As an example, some of the posts that I want to put in here in the recognize is put posts in there for just about anything that somebody does that we need recognized. They've hit a milestone with customers, obviously record savings. You guys see that I've started putting these ticket holder things in here. And Tony Stewart asked me to put this slide together. You're going to see that come through the feed probably. I don't even care if you start recognizing people for buying boomerangs, because that's an activity we want repeated. Okay. Obviously, if somebody joins first class, I can make you a graphic on joining first class with their name. Obviously, that was the first one. I have done these a few times now. Don't forget, too, if you join at first class, I do a press release on you where you can go first class and put that in there. You fill that info out. I get it. And I make the post for you, and you can use that for your own marketing. Put that on your page. Okay, so let me go. What was I doing next? Oh, I know what I was doing next. I was going to show you something. Just because it makes more sense to show somebody exactly how this works. Inside the 5-star group, this is our business group, okay? This is the ATM strategy group. What's really simple about this is how I have this set up. I have the Sizzle call pinned to the top. If you ever need to find anything, you just click announcements. But I've got a prospect I thought about. I was going to show you. I was going to demonstrate this live. All I do is simply this. I add him to the group. Okay, my buddy Kurt. He just got an invite, so it's just got sent that he's going to get an invite. I then go here to this one right here, because this is the Sizzle video.
If you're like the majority of people who watch this video, you're probably interested.
Right, that's the Sizzle video, and I'm not probably gonna. I probably won't put the other languages in here because I don't want to bog it down, but that kind of thing. But I then go to the comment section. Since Kurt has not yet obviously gotten the invitation or received it, I have to add him in here. So what you do is you click the @ symbol, and I type in Kurt, and it will find all the people that are named Kurt that I'm friends with. Because if you're not friends with somebody that can't be added, I click on Kurt right here, and I say, so hey homie. Did I spell that right? Nope. Watch this video first. And I don't have my glasses on, so if I misspell something, boom. He's now been what they call tagged in here. So that's the first one here. Watch this video first. I named that. Now I go to announcements again, and I see I want him. Okay, so this is the Holton Bugs video of the whole keynote speech, but that's not the one. I want him to see the 10-minute presentation. Okay, and so here's the 10-minute one. I got to actually add the new one to that one. Okay, but we'll do this. Same thing. At Kurt. Same thing. Here's the second. After watching this, look around at all cool stuff and stories. Boom. And I send it. That is one ATM I just did. I just did one ATM in literally a couple minutes. Now I'm going to go, so you get the whole concept of that, right? Now I'm going to go solo with you. So, because I got one more thing I got to do. I can't do it. Actually, I'm watching you guys. What I would then do is I personally like to take my phone. I go to my Messenger, Facebook Messenger. And when you click on the little 4 dots, it'll say voice. I personally like to do voice, because you want enthusiasm when you introduce somebody to this. And I would hold that red button down, and I'd say something like, hey, Kurt, Healy. Hey, man, listen. I just invited you into our business group, and I tagged you in 2 posts. I need you to at least watch the first video to see if you're interested in what I'm going to show you, because this new technology company that just came out is pretty incredible. I know you're a go-getter. You're welcome to say no after you look at it, but I promise I am going to stay after you until you at least watch the first video. I won't be a stalker, but just check it out when you get a chance. And when you let go of that, it then comes up into their on their message, and they get a message. It'll go instantly. So I do those things real quick. I add them to the group. I tag them in those 2 posts, and then I message them. And we've got some of you guys are doing extremely, being very, very consistent. I see Drew Berman's in here doing that. Berman, yeah. And then I got who else do I see in there? Tony Stewart's still very consistent. I see Peter Arthur's being very consistent. A lot of you guys are doing very, very, very good at adding people do that. Here's the other thing I will tell you. I also will send Kurt a text message with the Sizzle number. I will also send Kurt the text message with the Sizzle number because I just have to start the conversation. The name of this game is to get people to pique people's interest to take the next steps. Every single tool I design, every single website I put together is to do one specific task at a time. The Sizzle call is to pique interest. The I Decide is a tool to get them more information. The full presentation is to broaden their thinking and see this, and they're hearing the same thing 2 or 3 times. You got to remember in marketing, the reason you see commercials over and over and over again is because most people have to hear it over and over again. And what I love about the ATM group, and the reason it's so good to use it, is because when you guys make a post in there and I approve the post, everybody that's in that group, it usually will go through their Facebook feed. So it's and so if somebody makes a good post and it's relevant to somebody you're prospecting, so if you see somebody in there that says, I just took a trip to Dallas, Texas and saved this on this, and your buddy that you're trying to recruit is in Dallas, tag him in the post. Say, hey, check this savings out from somebody that went to Dallas. And the more content you and I put together in this group, because that's what I need is collectively all of us doing this, we're going to feed the machine. Okay? Feed the machine. If you feed the machine, the machine's going to feed you. Okay, that's all this is. This isn't a marathon or a sprint. This is a process. It's a process. It's a process. And what I personally like about the way I have some of this stuff set up for you guys is you don't have to know anything. You just got to be hungry. I'll take a hungry person over a skilled person any day of the week. Any day of the week. There's so many people that I sign up that they tell me they're going to do this, they're going to do that. They got the big, they've got the track record. Hey, what have you done for me lately kind of thing is what you should say. This is all about taking action now. Okay. I can't live on my past successes don't pay my current things that I need my checks for, right? Like you have to go out there and make these different things happen. Okay. You have to go out there and use those tools. But that's why they're so simple, because here's the thing. When I use tools to answer just about everything, and I kid you not, and I've made even a post about this, when people ask me questions about just about everything, I figure out where a video or YouTube, where the information is that I can send it to them. Like, let me show you this one real quick. I'm gonna go solo off real quick. Okay, I'm gonna show you like as an example on my rep training, right? The start page, when somebody enrolls, as soon as I sign somebody up, the very first thing is I click start here and I copy and paste myreptraining.com/start and send them there. You know why? First off, I have to get them trained to give out links. Have to get people trained to give out links. First one they get is this one. They watch the fast start training, right? But for me, I like to have all these things in one easy spot for myself and for people to find them. Right there's the record-breaking growth link. Here's the team testimony page. You probably haven't even seen that. All of the corporate training things that you find on the iBuumerang Hub page, those interactive ones are right here. Okay, they're all good. They all work. But let's say I wanted somebody to learn the marketing funnel. I go here, right click, copy the video URL. One of my favorite things to do on this page is at the bottom. I have all these things I took out and edited clips of Holton Bugs talking on a Zoom with some people that were asking questions. And what was cool is they asked a question and then he answered it and then he would pause and the next person. So I had these things. I was like, man, power of the Prib. This is one of my favorites. Anybody that ever asks me, is this thing work, especially if I'm prospecting them, that has nothing to do with the customer. Customer, just go try it and see what happens. That's all I do. Yeah, go try it. If it works, great. If not, just keep me in mind. But with this, with the iGo platform with Holton, somebody just recently asked me, is this cheaper? Does this work? And I said, great question. Let's ask Holton. I went to this page, I copied the video URL, and I inboxed it to them. And no kidding, they watched it. They got back to me, had 2 more questions, which I could easily answer in a text, and they enrolled. Okay, that's how hard. That's how simple this is. I kid you not. Network marketing is about freedom. Network marketing is about time freedom, right? Systems are the leverage by which you turn ordinary people into extraordinary performers. Okay. Leverage is what your time is to how's that saying go? Man, I got to remember that one. Like tools set you apart. If you have the right tools and systems, you can get this thing done so much quicker and people can do what you just did. Everybody, like I said a second ago, everybody talks about being duplicatable. Every single thing I put out and give to people is duplicatable. That's the key that a lot of people don't understand because yeah, a lot of you can't figure out how to do all the tech stuff that I do, but the great news is you don't have to. I'll create the tool. And when I see a question come up multiple times, like I love the questions a lot of you guys ask in the Boom Time group. And I watch to see what, a lot of you guys are doing an amazing job of answering questions for people. Thank you very much. But what's really cool is if I see a question come up like 4, 5, 6 times, that's the same one, that tells Mike that I need it. That's a pinch point. That's bogging people down. So if the question is going to come up again, let's make a tool for it, a quick video. You can. I mean, a lot of you guys are figuring this out too, like the loom.com, use loom.com, that screen record thing. That's one of the coolest tools you can get. It's totally free. You have a Chrome plugin and you can do a screen record. I did a video on it in the group where you can make yourself, you can record your screen and so on. And bang, just like that, you've got a tool. If somebody asks you something, it's hard, like sometimes people will call you up and say, where's this on my website? Where's this? Where's this? Where's this? A lot of times I will either send them to the video if I know I've got a video that's done, or I'll just record my screen and send it to them. Because the one reason I send it to them, send them a link, as opposed to trying to learn everything, is 1, I just created a tool that might have answered that question. But 2, I've created a process that's easy for people to replicate. Record your screen, send them on video. Record your screen. Because if we get people to do that, because in my opinion, technology is not going to go backwards, it's going to advance. I just learned years ago, like in 2005, I believe that I might have been the first person in Zango, which is the company I made a lot of money in, to ever do a webinar. And people were blown away that technology, I mean, we're so past that now, Zooms and things like that. I mean, it's so easy to do these type of things now. And if you get people just dependent on getting clicks, and then what's cool is when there's a meeting that happens, a physical meeting, the reason I was able to create such large meetings at hotels on a consistent basis when I did them was because by the time somebody showed up, they had heard a Sizzle call, watched a presentation, watched an online video, and when they came there, I did probably a 20-minute presentation because they already knew everything. They just wanted to touch you, feel you, make sure you were well, and then we would have some food and just chit chat. That, to me, that's what's powerful about these things, is when you send somebody to a meeting, like if you find out there's a meeting in Houston or Des Moines or wherever you're from, if they've already gone through some of these tools, when they show up, it's not like getting fire hosed. They've shown up and they just want to meet some people. They want to hear some stories. And that's what makes these businesses grow the biggest and fastest, I believe. Like I never, ever would take somebody to a hotel meeting as a first exposure. It's way too, because one, I usually don't know if I didn't know the speaker, it could be in trouble. It could be there for 2.5 hours talking about something that would have taken 15 minutes to really explain. But two, I think that if they know something ahead of time, that just like advertising and marketing, the more times you can get somebody to hear something, the more believable it becomes, the more it becomes ingrained into something they understand. And that's what makes these type of things tick. And then, like, what's so cool about all of the 3-ways that I have done, every 3-way that I have done, everybody that's called me, typically the people have called, and the people that got me on the 3-ways, they had watched. I don't care if it was my video or it doesn't have to be my videos, by the way. I don't care. If you find some other YouTube videos from other people that are great, use them. To me, it's always been about, I don't care who motivates my people as long as they're motivated. Okay. But a lot of times people have watched some videos. So when I do talk to them on the phone, it's more about just me interviewing them and asking them questions so I can learn more about them. And they usually just want to see that you're available in most cases. And that's what's cool. I can answer. Most of you know that I'm very available for you because I've created these systems in place. One, it's helped you guys be able to build your own businesses quicker, which you are. I mean, I see the numbers. I mean, they're coming in on a regular basis. But the other thing too is you can do those things. You can be good at what you do, which should literally be just telling your story. I'm glad this popped into my head because this is an important point. Do not, under any circumstances, underestimate the power of your personal story, because stories tell, or facts tell, stories sell. Like, you can give people facts all day long, but nothing will get them over the hump. And here's one of the reasons, psychology wise, and this is what I study a lot of, is the psychology of why people do what they do, is people, the reason stories are so effective is because you literally, science has proven that the neurons and stuff that trigger in your brain from a personal experience you were doing yourself, or a story that's compelling that someone tells them, the same neurons trigger, which means your mind doesn't know the difference of you having it. So when you tell somebody's story, like when I just did a 3-way with somebody, a lot of times if they ask me and give me the chance, I tell them my story. Hey, I quit networking. I was fed up with it. I didn't want to do it. And they can relate to that. And I'll throw in some emotional verbiage in that. And then all of a sudden, what's going to happen then is that person is starting to feel those emotions that they had, why they just quit their company, or why they're disgruntled with their current company. Or maybe they obviously, if they're not in networking, it doesn't matter. That doesn't mean anything to them. But I relate to them wherever they're at with the story. And I say, here's what I found, was that in my current way of things I was doing, I just wasn't going to make enough money to send my kids to college. I in fact went, and this is me just hypothetically giving you your story, maybe, and you're having your conversation, was like, Lisa, listen, here's what I know is I've been working at the same place for 35 years. My the income that I've had has been consistent for 30 some years. I actually had to go out and get a new job just because another part-time job just to supplement my income, and it's draining me. So when my friend called me about this thing, even though I felt, I was a little skeptical, what happened to me was this, is I realized that I was going to suffer through the rest of my life if I didn't do something different. And so when my friend Ray showed me that, let me listen to that Sizzle call, I already heard enough there that piqued my interest. I then watched that little I Decide presentation, which got me even more interested. And I then wanted to do a little due diligence, and I watched the full-blown presentation. And after watching the full-blown presentation, I realized there was something significant going on here, especially with the timing. And I couldn't tell. And I'll tell you this, Lisa, I just honestly don't think I've been more excited about the potential in my future to start getting that extra income coming in without having to work those extra hours and be drained every time I went home. Do you see how that's a compelling story? If it's all you got to do is be honest with who you're talking to. Nothing more than that. I kid you not. You have some tools to pique someone's interest, to tell them a story, your story. And then when you've told them your testimony, the next most powerful thing is this, is you should maybe write down 2 or 3 stories. One of the best things about why you're going to get so much value at the convention, at the Houston event, is because those are the greatest places to meet all of us. Obviously, first and foremost, you're going to want to meet us because we're awesome, right? But you're going to hear stories that are going to touch your heart. And when they touch your heart, you're going to be able to relate those stories to people that you have conversations with. If you ever listen to Tommy Johnson and you wonder why he's such a good networker, he can't do any of this stuff that I do. He can't make websites. He can't do any of this stuff. But you know why he's so good at networking? Because he knows how to tell stories correctly. Why is Carolyn so good at it? She tells stories correctly. Why is Sam Bean so good at it? He tells stories correctly. Why is Holton so good at this? He tells his stories. If you watch some of his older videos, they're so compelling. He talks with emotion. It's not the song you sing, it's how you sing it. And if you learn some of these people's stories, meaning put 2 or 3 in your head of people you've heard, stories that are told, things like that. And those are the ammo that you can use to, like when somebody has an objective, you can just say, well, I don't know, all I know is, so somebody has an objection with, well, I didn't find any savings. Well, that could be true. But what I do know is this. I sent it out to 5 people. Lisa, in fact, went and used it and did, blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying? I always answer people typically with the story, not just the fact, because psychologically the story will embed into them better and have a triggered emotional effect that it's just like them actually having that experience. I know I went a little deep into this though, okay? Because I study this stuff. I study the human behavior stuff because this is a people business. This is not a travel company. It's not even necessarily a technology company, even though that's what I tell people it is. But if you learn these simple skills, all you really then have to bring yourself to the table is hunger, passion, desire, and everything's already laid out for you. If nothing ever changed in this company, you could go make more money than you can spend. If you just go to work and you do it. The reason that I am recruiting as many people as I am is because a lot of the stuff that I do on my videos and texts and stuff like that is I tell stories. I'm passionate about it. I'm just myself because here's the thing. You're, as Holton would say, you're as good as you need to be as a person. You might have, we all have a couple character flaws and issues, but you're good enough at the moment to do this business. You'll get better if you stay the course, but you're good enough as a person, especially if you have the passion, desire, why you want to do this thing. Okay. And it might not even be, believe it or not, it might not even be for you. It might be you want to go do this thing for your kids. It might be that you want to do this for your other family members. Most of it's, personally based. And sometimes that actually will drive a person more than it will just on what they could get out of themselves. Okay. So all that being said, I typically shoot for half an hour. I'm 45 minutes into this thing, but it looks like I kept everybody. I can see the same numbers on here. So here's what I'm going to tell you. I got some other things top of my head is if you're on the ticket, get on the ticket holder training and make sure you get that taken care of. Okay. Because I cannot emphasize enough about the power of events. Oh, let me tell you a story about it. I was completely broke, quit network marketing, had to go get a job 10 years into my career. I'd given it up. Someone got me to a big event. I sat in the very back row of a room full of about 3,000 people like this, completely skeptical about everything, and heard story after story after story across the stage. That evening, after the second day of being at that event, I went into my room, broke, living on 1 day's worth of Chinese the only thing I could afford when I went to that event, which was across the country. I had to fly to it. I had no money to do that. I had to sell some stuff in a garage sale and went there and made the decision I was going to go to work. Why not give it one more shot just to see what happens? 1 year later, I showed up back at that event and they mentioned me on stage as one of the fastest growing guys in the company. And I was over a 5-figure a month income. I had broken the $10,000 per month earnings in that company. Took me about a year and 6 months to do it in that company. I went on to make over 7 figures in that company. Not saying that everybody that goes to an event does that, because I see people that go to the event, get all excited, and then they come back and they forget why they're doing it. And then they don't take the action to do it. Put that in front of you all the time. Why you're doing something. Always put that in front of you. Why was I doing it? I'll tell you exactly why. I had 3 little kids. 3 little kids that were counting on dad to get them fed. And I didn't know. I had no skills, no background in business, nothing besides network marketing to fall back on, which I hated. I went and got an insurance license and I failed at that. I went and became a personal trainer, which was okay, but I still had to show up. And once you start hearing people talk about making 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, $500,000 a month in income, to go back to making 20, 30, 50,000, $100,000 a year, it don't sound good. Okay. It don't sound good. When you're 10 years in and meeting all these people that are making that kind of money, and now you got to go back to getting a job where you're barely making ends meet. And I justified it. I was getting up at 3:45 in the morning and I justified that I was going to stay there because I was bringing in enough money. Barely. I was getting up at 3:45. Now I do get up early. Anyhow, not quite that early. But the power of going to an event like that changed my course, changed my career, changed my life, changed my family's life. I'm telling you, if you get there, you can do that. Okay, last thing. Be on the lookout too. Make sure you're on the email list. You should have gotten the chat messages and so on. Some of the things that I want to do is I want to do some, Dr. Lorette Willis gave me this idea when we were doing a private call with a bunch of us about doing a boiler room is what we call it. I'm considering doing that to a boiler room, if you never heard that phrase, where you get a bunch of people in a room. Well, obviously we're not going to do it in a hotel room. We're going to get on like Zoom where everybody can see each other. And we're going to have like contests of putting people in a 5-star group, sending out texts. I think it would be kind of cool to get something like that. So keep an eye on that. If you see the word boiler room come through, that's what I'm going to probably trigger, because I pretty much got all the systems that we really need to get this thing rocking and rolling, which I wanted to, because I wanted to put stuff in place so we can scale this thing faster, bigger than anybody's ever seen. I'm telling you, I'm just follow me here. The people that are plugging in, and we're bringing in some top level people. Some of you are on here, been watching this. Okay. Some of you are watching recording, but recently I've seen some really, really, really big professional network marketers that have jumped in this thing because they've been watching from the sidelines. You can't deny the stuff that's happening. The proof is in the pudding. And now they're coming on board, and I'm telling you, you're going to be able to learn from some of these people as well. Okay. Because this isn't always going to be about the Mike Healy show. That's why I want to do a boiler room, so I can get other people talking about it. And as people, do other things, get promoted, things like that, I'm going to start doing more interviews and Facebook Lives on here. But I just wanted to make sure I had everything, kind of as much stuff I could put in place that has worked in the past that I could amplify and do so that you can have a better success on here. Somebody said I'm amazing. Thank you, Elaine. Maybe you just haven't got out enough and met enough people. Anyhow, I'm just kidding. Perfect. Anyhow, I'm done talking. You guys are fantastic. I believe every single one of you has the ability to go out there and build this thing, because everything's in place. There are no excuses. Okay. You just have to be consistent. Number one thing that you could be is consistent in this thing. Activity matters most. I'll take ignorance on fire over knowledge on ice every day of the week. As long as you're hungry and you plug into what we're doing, you're going to be just fine. And then the team's going to applaud everything you do. And when you walk across stage with tears in your eyes because you went out and got out of your comfort zone and did something that was not normally in your DNA, you have no idea how much, how big it is, and how much it's worth it when you look back. Okay. As good as you think it is then, when you're doing it now, when you get there, it'll be 10 times better than you thought. Okay. When you're paying, cash for cars, when you're tipping people $100 tips everywhere you go because you can, that kind of thing. Start thinking outside the box. Think bigger. Holton said this, and I wrote it down at the first training I ever saw him do, was the biggest thing that he wished he would have done is think bigger, faster. Think bigger, faster. So Balls in your court. Balls in your court. Get those tickets to the event. Submit them at go to teamregional.com to submit that information, or look for that video I did in the Boom Time group to get that. So you can get that extra training on there. It's totally worth your while. Trust me, it is some gold stuff that I pry out of these people that puts it on the table there, and we're going to get more people on the trainings. But I'm looking forward to meeting all you guys on there or at the event. It's going to be fun. And that's just the beginning. That is not the destination. That is the beginning of things that we're going to put together. And this year is going to be amazing. 2020 is your year. So thanks again, guys. I see that I am hungry. Yep. Type it in there. I'm hungry, 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 hungry. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being on here. Everybody's fantastic. I love you guys. And I don't take it lightly, all the kind words. So thank you very much and appreciate it. So I will see you on the next one. Keep an eye out. Stay plugged in. See ya.